Now I'll finish with the thought that was in my mind. Like I said, I worry that I'm going to get fired. I've always worried. Every job I've ever had, I always worry I'm going to get fired. I think my dad worried the same thing. But when he was self-employed, I think he worried about other things. I won't go there. I'll keep dad's secrets. My go-to place, my safe go-to place for the fire scenario is to. I even have a spreadsheet made out. It's a packed parachute spreadsheet on my personal Microsoft account. It's a spreadsheet there that lists all the steps. I get fired. So the idea is that today I go into work and my boss calls me and says, Kurt, we're happy that you came and tried to come back with us for a week, but that document you sent yesterday pointing in the wrong direction clearly shows you don't know. You're no longer for us. Or giving you a notice. Here you go. Here's your severance papers. That would be a disaster. Mainly because my daughter's not done with college yet, and I need to finish that. I need to get her through university. Once she's through university, Yumiko and I are nimble. Closing on 60, we're not as nimble as we used to be, but we're pretty damn nimble. We don't own much. We can pack and move on. And the place that we'd move on to is we'd go back to Japan if that happened. And that's what my packed parachute says. My packed parachute says, step one, okay, open this in a case of emergency, pull this cord, the spreadsheet opens up, and step one. And I've got all these steps laid out, bam, 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 bam. I mean, this is something that I've really built, and I've curated it ever since I came back to America. I've developed this document. It's a step-by-step guide for life collapsing. And what it'll lead to is Yumiko and I will be back in Japan in a little apartment, curating a simple life. And I'm telling you, that's just fine with me, as long as Emily's okay. I don't want to leave Emily high and dry midway through her university. Just got to get her through the university. Once she's done with that and able to take care of herself and maybe off starting her own family and life and all that stuff, then I think that's going to summon a new change in my way of life. Is that I'll be much more cavalier. I'm not a mean person, and I'm not a irresponsible person, but I'll be certainly more cavalier in my footloose in my living, because I can always go back. And so here's the piece I wanted to share with you. One time as Softy Pop, I was deep, not in the mountains, but I was deep in the back part of a railroad little village. I think it was out by Mochimuni, somewhere between Mochimuni and Yaizu. I can't quite remember. And I remember finding my way down these streets to the back of a mountain that come up against the little community there. And I went to a left, and then a little further, and then a right, and then I came to the end, and there was a beautiful shrine. I mean, and you have some of these shrine trees, like Spirited Away, the anime, the giant shrine tree. There was one of those enormous trees like that at this Shinto shrine. I remember it was the one on the right, because usually the shrines have trees on right and left side of the shrine. The one on the right, just enormous, arching branches over the top of this old shrine. And then immediately next to that shrine was one of those old style Showa era kind of slapped together houses, wood frame, no insulation. You know the type. The more Japanese built after the war, post-war built houses. And there was a small, maybe probably 2 bedrooms in there. Maybe it had once housed a family, but now it housed a little old woman. And she was out in front with one of those stick brooms that the Japanese have. And she was sweeping it up the front of her house, and she was tidying up the front of the shrine. I went into the shrine and I sat on the edge of the entrance there, next to the it was a Nadi shrine, so I sat next to the very close to the fox statue, and I listened to the sounds. There was sound. It was a warm season, and there was the sounds of the forest behind me and the sound of the city before me. I think I heard a train passing in the distance, and some cars going by, a scooter, and then the sweep of the sticks on the ground as she moved the fallen leaves off of from in front of the shrine in her house. And that look on her face, the way she carried herself, and the tidiness of her small little house, a kind of house where very few Japanese would actually want to live, but looked like paradise to me. I've stayed in that kind of house before many a time. I know the creaks and the groans that they make at night, and the cold that they have in the cold season, and there's no insulation. And I told myself, this is paradise. I know it's not perfection. I know paradise isn't real. I know, but you can have a dream, right? That little house, a place like that, tucked away at the edge of the metropolis, and next to something special, where the days will come and go, and a little bit of effort keeps things clean. That's my dream. So if I do go in today and they issue me my papers, or if that comes next week or a month or two after that, hopefully it doesn't happen until Emily's graduated from university. Then I will whip out that spreadsheet, my packed parachute, and I'll begin executing those steps. And when I get back to Japan, I'll be looking for that place. And I tell Yumiko that she's very aware of my dream. I tell her about it all the time. That's how she can tell when I'm having a tough time, is because I tell that story. I know I'll never find that, right? Yumiko wouldn't want to live in a house like that. She grew up in one of those. She's had enough of that. But still, a guy can dream. And with that, I'll stop. I wish you all the best. Make it a good day, and remember to be safe, but not too safe. Take care.